Hello everyone, welcome to Illuminate 2022. My name is Paweł Brzoska, I'm product manager with Sumo Logic, and we'll be covering updates of APM and RUM. As you can see, one of the things that I really care about is building great products that people love. So that's exactly what I do here, and it is my pleasure also to guide you over the things we have built over past 12 months for you. We are going to cover two areas of capabilities in Sumo Logic platform. This is application performance monitoring. We're going to talk what's already delivered and in your hands, and also what is coming soon, what we're working on right now. And then we're going to switch to real user monitoring, where we're actually preparing a big upgrade, a big release for you. So we're going to talk in details about what is prepared there for you. So hey, 2 years ago, we have actually released for the first time distributed tracing as a part of Sumo Logic platform, a cornerstone on cloud native APM. And 2 years later, here we are. Gartner has named Sumo Logic a challenger on APM and observability Magic Quadrant. So it's been a journey. Thank you for all your support, and thank you for all the customers that have adopted the product. We have great market validation that what we do is really great value. But what's most importantly is we also see that in adoption numbers. Only in last 12 months, we have noticed over 2 times more traces ingested into Sumo Logic platform, 3 times more users only in last year. And those users are not even bigger in the number, but they are also these users, which are you. They're adopting and using the product even more than a year ago. On average, every user is using the product 10 times more actively. So as you can see, 3,500% of adoption in terms of traces displayed in Sumo Logic product. So thanks for that. I wanted to take that opportunity to thanks to all the customers that have already adopted that product. And also, if you have not adopted yet, please let us know how we can help. Please reach out to the links we're going to provide at the end of the session if you're interested how to start your journey with modern distributed tracing APM. So let's start with what we have already released, what we have already delivered to you. Last 12 months, last year, and we're going to continue till the end of the year, we are focusing on 3 things. We're going to focus on making our APM offering more mature, smarter, and more powerful. So let's talk about these 3 things. And in the context of these 3 things, let's see what kind of new capabilities, new additions we have added to the product. First of all, we have made access to your tracing data, to your APM data much easier. First, what we have released a few months ago is what we call extended trace filtering. This is very important when you realize what OpenTelemetry is, what a new modern open community-driven standard for APM data is really all about. And it is about you, the customer, the user, owning the data. You can insert and illustrate the data, the metadata of your spans with any type of additional information that can help you investigate the problem. For example, here we have a canvas chart resize as an example. Very important part of modern distributed tracing product is not to have you configure these fields on the backend, but to have these fields appear automatically. And that's exactly what we do here. Any kind of tag, any kind of metadata you might add to your data will be automatically indexed, automatically displayed, and available for filtering immediately after the first data with this new tag hits the backend. It has high cardinality support. It's the item that we have learned from you that this is important. So this is customer feedback item. It's unique Sumo capability. This is thanks to the scalability and flexibility of our platform that allows us to deliver things like that to you. Another thing, to have easier access to the data with our mantra that developers come first, is programmatical access to the data through APIs, not only to tracing data, also to span analytics, which is more detailed, more flexible way of querying the raw APM data, as well as service map. Service map, which shows you the connections between services, automatically tracked and automatically updated, is also available through this API. Of course, Sumo Logic has logs heritage, so connecting logs to APM world was always very important for us, and this is the reflection of it. It is quite easy to join and to connect logs and traces. We have a couple of documentation pages that explain how to enable, how to configure OpenTelemetry to drop the trace ID and span IDs into your logs. Once you do that, the system Sumo Logic will actually automatically detect this in log data and will present that new option when you right-click in your log search window. If you right-click and get that right-click menu, there will be a menu there. There will be an option there to open a trace or for this trace ID that you have clicked. More for same dollars. Good news for our customers. We have extended two major dimensions of scalability of the APM data in the system for free. You don't have to pay any extra dollar to get use of that functionality, and all of our APM tracing customers already enjoy and leverage this new limit. So first of all, we have extended the retention 2 times, and we have also extended number of spans per trace 10 times. So you have 20 times more capable backend product that allows you to do more and solve most complex use cases for the same money. Better analytics. This is very important. After all, what we want to solve the real problems. Span events and span links sound similar, but they're actually two completely different things, both related to how OpenTelemetry stitches and illustrates the data. Span events, think about this. A span is a duration. It has a start and has an end. It is an event that lasts in time, that has a duration, and events are actually telling you what was happening in the life cycle of the spans. It might be that something happened, something started, something ended. Very often out of the box instrumentations, auto instrumentations are actually dropping exceptions, log messages into the spans as span events. We have full support right now for span events. We can display them in the metadata. We display them in Span Analytics tracing UI. If it's an exception, if it's a stack trace, you can see the full stack trace in the pop-up window. So we have full support for that, even for most advanced error tracking use case. As with regards to span links, think about span links as casual relationships between spans and different traces. As an example, think about synchronous transaction that launches several asynchronous jobs. You don't want to create one gigantic trace out of it. Maybe you want to split that data, that transaction, into several traces, maybe one trace for synchronous part, another few traces for asynchronous part, and connect these traces through span links so you can still see, hey, what was the resulting transaction, or what was the transaction that has actually launched this trace that I'm looking at. So that's about span links. We have full support right now in the product for this even most advanced OpenTelemetry standard driven capabilities. Span Analytics is something we have announced last year that employs the power of Sumo Logic query language on the raw APM data, basically unlocking any set of analytics use cases you might imagine. Obviously, log search query language is something that our hardcore logs users enjoy a lot, and there's always a way to write APM queries using the same log search query language as you would use for logs. But for those users that are new to that world, that maybe are coming from classic APM use cases, we have also created that simple, easy to use interface where you don't have to write the queries. And what we have delivered this year is actually possibility to place these panels, the panels that are querying APM data that way, on the dashboards. So you can create dashboards that have as you can see here at the bottom, that have logs queries, metrics queries, and spans queries in the same panel. Or you can have multiple panels querying different types of data. You can create custom dashboards from APM data mixed with logs and metrics. So that's unique on the market. This is, the same query language used for different types of data and putting everything on custom dashboards. We're very proud of it, and we see great adoptions and great feedback from our customers on this particular functionality. Another good thing that we've released actually, I think 2 months ago, is critical path contribution aggregation chart. Complex name, but really what it's all about is about showing you what is the average length of the traces, and it's probably best to focus on traces of a special kind, like a login process or search process or checkout process. And then you can see like here, hey, I had a problem shortly after 1 p.m., right? Normally that transaction took around half a second, and during that time it took 4.5, almost 5 seconds. And at the same time, we're also providing you exact information where that time was spent. So a modern way of analyzing distributed tracing data, very similar to classic APM use cases where you have plenty of charts like that, but done on the detailed distributed tracing data, so very granular, very precise. And we're also doing this in a special Sumo way. Basically, when we see that the upstream service is actually waiting for the downstream service and its span, it's still open, we're not assigning this time to upstream service because it's not the service in which the time is spent. It's the downstream service that is actually at fault. So we're actually taking that parallelism of the distributed transaction trace into account to show you exactly where that time is spent, therefore critical path contribution. Another thing is the deployment environment support. This is the metadata tag that is part of the OpenTelemetry standard. If you're already using this to differentiate between different environments like production, development, or staging, it automatically appears in the metrics we generate for APM data out of the box for APM distributed tracing. And you can already build metrics queries and custom dashboards using that parameter. And we'll be obviously following up on this very, very soon. And that's actually a good segue to the next section of our presentation, which is what's coming soon. And that's exactly what I was talking about. We are currently working on adding this environment, dimension as a new view to our Explore set of views for APM. So we had application and service views. We're going to have environment view, and we'll also be adding this environment as a new dimension to existing views under the service and under application. So you can slice and dice your environment by service, application, and or environment at the same time. Another thing is improving the analytics that we do between infrastructure and application worlds. As you can see in the product there, it is already possible in some places to see what is the node or the pod or container or namespace or EC2 instance or the host on which a certain span or transaction was generated. We want to also port that logic into different parts of the products like service map and alert response page that is here on the picture. So if you have an alert on an application, you can immediately see, what EC2 instance is this running on? What is it, a database transaction? What kind of database is it? Do I have it monitored? Can I jump to database dashboard? Can I see the infrastructure metrics for the EC2 or table or database that I'm monitoring on this host? This will be done in a very easy, intuitive way to connect these two worlds even tighter together. This thing is really about making your life easier, about making easier how you onboard APM data onto the platform. Today, obviously, we're using collectors and we're going to use OTC distro for that moving forward as well. And we have that extensive functionality of shaping the traffic, very powerful and very nice to very intelligent in terms of how it's shaping the data. We want to move that intelligence, we want to move that into our cloud. So you can actually better distribute the collection network of your agents, but to keep the traffic shaping in the cloud centralized, easy to use, and connected to ingest budgets. So you'll be able to decide how much data you want to ingest. You will be able to use out-of-the-box rules to keep only that data that is interesting and useful if the budget is exceeded, and also configure these rules up to your needs if you need to. So that's will make ingesting of the distributed tracing data into Sumo even easier than it is today. So let's switch to real user monitoring. We are actually announcing a new real user monitoring release during Illuminate 2022, and it's a great major addition to what we have released last year, which was the first release of RUM. And here, 12 months ago, it's even better than it was 12 months ago. So you can do 5 new great things with this new release. First of all, you can monitor single page apps that obviously contain the XHR as well as navigation timings. You have dedicated metrics for AJAX calls. You have dedicated support for navigation controls. You are able to find out how much time was spent in XHR calls, and you have also have a special dedicated way of naming user actions. For example, if your XHR call was a result of a user clicking on the pay button on the checkout page, that's exactly how we're going to name that user action. Click on pay on checkout page. If that was a navigation change, we are going to tell you that was the route change to a certain URL. Second thing you can do with this is to investigate freezing browser times. There is a special span type and a special metric for long task delays, taking the long task information directly from browser APIs, that will show you exactly what are the most problematic user actions in which part of your front-end applications these long tasks that actually indicate freezing browser happen the most. Third thing is full support for core Web Vital metrics, things like first input delay, largest contentful page, etc. Another thing is geographical map that you can see here at the top, which is part of our out-of-the-box dashboard that shows you the activity and performance. So activity is the size of the bubble, performance is the color of the bubble of different geographical locations from where your users are coming from. Finally, quite a major thing, last but not least, we're enabling capturing of browser errors through our JavaScript, real user monitoring JavaScript that you install in the browser, and sending that data over OpenTelemetry compatible log protocol to Sumo Logic Log backend. So you're able to automatically capture things like on-code exceptions, console errors, etc. That data is available in the log search screen in standard log backend in Sumo Logic, as well as integrated with this out-of-the-box dashboard as a summary panels that are showing different types of errors that are appearing in your system. If you're interested to learn more about new release of RUM, there is another session that I would like to invite you to. I'm talking to our senior engineering manager, Miłosz Piechocki, exactly about how Sumo Logic uses its own solution to monitor Sumo Logic platform users. That is you. Of course, we're not only building UI, and Miłosz is responsible for that, but also keep making sure that it's as fast as possible and your experience as users of Sumo Logic platform are as best as they could possibly be. And Miłosz is already using this great new functionality to solve even these use cases, these challenges even better than before. Finally, early access, mobile monitoring. So a dedicated SDK to monitor your native mobile apps. We have iOS already in early access. This basically generates the tracing data, end-to-end tracing data, similar to browser RUM, where you can see what's happening in the client end and then follow the transaction all the way to the backend. If you're interested in trying this, contact your Sumo account team. Would be happy to help you to try. Finally, to summarize, 2 years after the release, once again, great adoption, great feedback from your customers. Thanks a lot. If you're not already a customer, please think about this. We have matured this product a lot over the last 2 years. It is ready to use by both small and medium and large enterprises. We have quite big organizations using this already. It is powered by OpenTelemetry. There's no vendor lock-in. It's fully open, community-driven standard, a new way of approaching APM problems. And if you're still using these classic APM tools that are still using, classic previous generation ways of solving that, think about consolidating on a single platform. Think about saving money. Think about solving the classical APM problems in a modern distributed tracing OpenTelemetry powered way. That would be all from me. If you would like to learn more about these things, here are two links for you. The first is the set of blogs that explain what we do with APM. Second is the link to our documentation, where you can actually find getting started section that can help you get started within minutes. That's all from me. Thank you very much. Have a good day and enjoy Illuminate. Thank you.